Welcome to the Disney Hour Express podcast. I'm Abby.
And I'm Rob. We are two hopelessly romantic Disney enthusiasts,
Sharing fun stories, secret tips, and family travel experiences.
If you are a Disney newbie, or maybe a season pass holder, we hope you find this information helpful.
We turned our love of Disney into a unique boutique travel agency that books Disney and Universal vacations.
We've got a lot of stories, so cozy on up, choose your favorite drink,
Whether that be a cocktail or a hot chocolate,
and enjoy the Disney Hour Express. Hey guys, Rob here. You're about to hear our initial cruise impressions and our first day embarking on the Disney Destiny. You're going to hear us talk like as if when we started off the episode, we thought we were going to cover the entire cruise on this one episode. And then all of a sudden realized there's so much to go over on the first day that this episode would have to be 6-7 hours long to cover everything. So we decided to, like I said, probably mid-episode, just cover the first day. So you're going to hear us say, we're going to cover everything. Hang tight. We're going to be back on our next episode, cover more of the cruise, going over our thoughts and answering that question, when we get to the end, is it worth it as a first-time cruiser or, just as a family in general cruising on a Disney cruise? We appreciate it. Now I'm going to kick it off to Abby so she can intro the show.
Hey, Oceaneers. Welcome back to the Disney Hour Express. I'm Abby, and over there we have Rob. And today's episode is coming in hot because we just got back from Disney Destiny. And I have thoughts. If you've been wondering whether Disney Destiny is worth it, what makes it different, and what you actually need to know before you book, you're in the right place. What do you think, Rob?
I'm feeling a little hot myself.
Is it because our attic-y kind of recording studio is warm?
It's a little warm, so we got the door open.
I hear you.
These are the great types of insights that you're going to have coming
Today.
Definitely.
This wonderful Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. We did just get off. We're about a week removed, a little over a week removed from our Embarkation day.
I can't tell you how many times I have messed up embarkation and disembarkation. I don't know why. It just doesn't stick with me.
I mean, it's like you're dissing the embarkation day.
Yeah, well,
You're dissing the disembarkation of
Anyways.
it all. So that is part of it. But yeah, we are, we're here to, right? We're here to gauge. We're here to help everyone else determine if this is something that they want their families
to do.
If it's worth it for them, right? I know there's every Disney podcast and anything out there. It's like, is it, Walt Disney World, the French fry cart, it's just like anything. Is it worth it?
Well, listen, the reason why this makes it different is because this is our actual first Disney cruise. Mm-hmm. So,
and not just us. Our family. Right?
We took our family. So we're not just two adults going.
Yeah.
It was a family of four.
The three of the four of us have never cruised before.
That's true.
So I think that's a little bit of a, one of us had an expectation. She was expecting more casinos on board, but
no way. I was so glad to not see casinos on board. It was
casinos and more body shots. I don't know what she was expecting, but
that's hysterical.
But that definitely, there were glowing shots, right? Or there were glowing soda bottles.
Yes, that's true.
Things like that.
Oh, that was cool.
Anyway, and we're also gonna try to answer, like, would we do it again? Like, we're gonna answer that question. Spoiler alert: we've already looked at pricing for next for like more cruises.
Anyways.
But we're not gonna go there just yet. So I think it's a good idea. Maybe start with like a quick overview.
Yeah, I'm into it.
of the trip. So we sailed on the
Disney Destiny.
right, and it was a 5 nights Western Caribbean cruise.
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
that was a little confusing to me when it was like Western Caribbean.
Yeah.
Because I guess I don't really consider. So we had 2 ports. We had Cozumel and then Disney's Castaway Cay.
Yes.
And I just didn't like. I was like Western. I
Yeah,
didn't
why
know
would it be
Cozumel was in the
Western?
Western,
Right.
was in the Caribbean.
We did a lot of geography, a lot of looking up things beforehand,
Yes.
which does also tell you a little bit about American education, but we don't get into that here on this Disney Hour Express podcast.
So we did stay in a deluxe family ocean view stateroom.
Yes.
Right. And so that's now kind of one of the bigger. It's like the biggest
yeah.
stateroom that you could get other than going to a concierge.
Correct.
Right. And then obviously like the really big concierge, which is like the big crazy suites that they have in there that are
nuts.
I mean, there's a stateroom in what they call the funnel, which is those big giant, stacks that you see on a cruise. And there's one that's in the funnel that you can stay at. It's like crazy. I couldn't even find the price. I didn't even want to look up what the price was of it.
I couldn't even imagine.
But it's huge and it's multiple floors and all that stuff. So we weren't staying there. So just to give you a little bit of a idea on what would a cruise like this cost.
Yeah.
And so I was just looking up something that was a similar itinerary coming up soon, because cruises kind of tend to the pricing fluctuates a little bit.
It really does.
Yeah,
It's like
and sometimes
in
a lot.
season,
Yeah.
out of season.
Yeah, like you're gonna get a little
weather.
bit more you're gonna get a little bit more bang for your buck, or you're gonna get a better price like in the winter.
Yes.
And as it gets into hurricane season, definitely, because you're taking a chance,
Yeah. Well, and they might not be able to go to ports and things like that.
Yeah.
So you've got
which is always a possibility on anything. You know,
Right.
there's just, you never know, and we'll get into that in a little more. But getting into the room, so they have kind of 4 categories of rooms.
Yep.
On the Disney cruise. So you have the inside stateroom,
Yep.
which is a stateroom that's obviously on
It's
the
the
inside
interior of the ship. So like you don't have any access to the outdoors. Like you don't have a
Yeah.
port window. You don't have a
Nothing.
veranda. It's
Yeah.
just a room.
And now some things on the Disney cruise, I have to get into it. Some inside staterooms will have a screen that looks like a port,
Yeah.
and
which
that
is
will
cute.
show you like a camera view
Yep. Of what's
of it.
happening outside.
of what's happening inside. And then usually, you occasionally like you see Tinkerbell like fly through or something like that, which is pretty cool. But then there's rooms that don't have anything at all. And like I think from what I've seen of the Destiny, I
they
didn't
don't
see any
have
of those.
It doesn't.
So I don't
seem-
know if that's really about the class of ship or like new versus old or whatever. But those are also going to be the least amount of space.
Yeah.
The inside staterooms a lot of times don't have the split bathrooms that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a big deal. So the price on the inside stateroom was $5,293
For a
family of 4.
4.
You'll see on the Disney cruise lines, and I think on the other cruise lines, it's not really about the amount of people, but the room itself, right? So it's like even if you were just by yourself, it would still cost you pretty close to that. Maybe a little bit less without the 2 extra people, but
Right.
kind of like 1 or 2 people, it really doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. Really
Yeah, but but that's for a family of 4, which they still, what is it now? 2 adults and 2.5 children is the norm. I don't know. We could have a half children price.
What's a half child?
So then the next one up is the Ocean View stateroom, and that's going to give you like a big. You're going to be on the outside. You're not going to have an open window or door, but you're going to have a big like a porthole, and they're actually pretty large, right? It's kind of like this big
like you
view.
can kind of sit in there comfortably in that porthole.
Yeah, it was, if we were able to bring our cats onto that, they would just be in that window the entire time. And our good friends Random Recess actually did just cruise. They cruised on the Disney Treasure. You could see their vlog at the Random Recess on YouTube, and like their window, they enjoyed it, right?
Oh yeah,
Because they said they weren't really veranda people. They didn't like going out out in the veranda. Crazy. But anyway, we're not saying anything. And so that room's going to run you up now $5,950.
Okay.
Right. But that's
Yep.
going to be, you're going to get a little more space. You're going to get this outdoor view, and you're going to get that split stay bathroom, which is kind of and there's more features to that. Then, of course, our dogs decide that they get.
Molly, what are you doing?
I don't know. We're talking Disney Cruise Lines here. So then the next room category is the veranda room.
Yeah.
Right. And so the veranda room is now you're going to get a door to the outside.
Yes.
And a private veranda.
So cool.
There's kind of different, like we had, like I said, a deluxe family ocean view room, which is a bigger room.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's just like family ocean view rooms. That's not a deluxe. And the space is about the same. It's really not like, you're not going to be able to fit like a pickleball court in the deluxe one versus the other one. You're still in somewhat confined quarters, and I probably should have looked up square footage. Might have been helpful, but it is what it is. And that's where, so we stayed in a veranda room.
Yes.
And that's going to run you $6,051 on this upcoming itinerary on the Disney Destiny.
Yep.
Last category is the concierge room, right?
Woo-woo.
And so there's the big rooms like that I said, the funnel and stuff, and that's that's different. That's even more than this. It is concierge, but these rooms they're going to be a little bit bigger. You are going to get a veranda.
Yep.
But they're kind of similarly laid out, just like the other rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to give you other access to other amenities, like a private dining room, a private bar, snacks. You get a private deck,
which is
area
so cool.
that
I love the
access.
dining room kind of idea too, because things get a little busy, not crazy,
yeah,
but a little busy.
Yeah, and you're just going to get access to a few more things. I like the private deck area was really nice, and it has like a hot tub, and so you're not going to be fighting, amongst the rest of the ship. It's just going to be these concierge people. So that room is going to run you $11,479, which is a huge jump up.
Yeah.
So you really have to be, swimming in it and say, hey, it's worth it for this, extra luxury. Right. You get all types of crazy things. Like they have a card I've seen watching YouTube, and when you come in and ask you what type of pillowcase you would like.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even know how to answer that, to be
Your
honest.
pillowcase, I'd just be like,
what's a typical pillowcase?
Over here. Come on, pillows, guys, pillows. And so that's just kind of a rundown of the pricing of that. Like I said, things fluctuate. There's always Disney deals that are going on right now. So like, for example, right now they have on some select sailings, you could get 50% off kids, and that's anyone 17 and under is 50% off for the additional guests, and that's per adult. So you get, like, if there's 2 adults, you could get up to 2 kids off 50%. 17 and under too, because Disney always likes to fluctuate.
They play with those ages a little bit.
Like, well, an 11-year-old adult.
Yeah.
When you go to eat somewhere.
Go to Disney World.
But if you're on a cruise and you're under 17, you're a kid.
You're a kid. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me, but we'll go with it, right?
I know.
Whatever.
Believe me, we were just at a brunch where we were going over what our 11-year-old would eat, and believe me, it's not an adult amount of food.
There's not a lot going on there.
So, anywho, so that's just kind of setting us up, right?
Yeah.
For now.
I mean,
what are we talking about next?
If we jump into it, really, I want to tell you a couple of things about that very first day going on to the cruise, right? So what was our whole boarding experience like? Was it chaotic? Was it smooth? Was it magical? Mm-hmm. I think we had a mix of all the things. And so let's run down what that's like. First of all, you have to get transportation to the port, right? From wherever you decide to stay the night before, because you really do need to stay the night before.
Yes. At the very least, everyone's going to recommend, if you're not in town, you're not local, you're not driving down, fly in the day before at the very, just to be safe, because you never know what's going to happen with travel. We
Never.
took a little bit of a chance.
We really took a chance, and I'm telling you, like
You know,
I had not exhaled in quite some time because we had one child that was away on a trip with her school, coming back the day that we were flying out, and of course, it takes us forever to get to the airport around here,
well, to
and
a specific airport,
yeah,
'cause-
and so that was a lot, and we had to do like a parking off site and get there, get on the flight, and get to our hotel. And this was all going to kind of happen after midnight was when we were checking in. And that's a lot for young kids. That's a lot for me. I'm always like in bed by 9. Okay.
and you never know. Maybe a child will get stuck in an elevator or something. You never know what's
That's
going to
never
happen on
happened.
your
Oh.
way there. So there's always those sort of things. You have to build in time for elevator situations.
So
and
we
things of those
we made
nature.
it, and we made it to our hotel.
It
which
actually went
I
pretty
have to
smoothly.
say, it did. It
Yeah.
did go smoothly, but I was still like all like wound up still. But our hotel was amazing. It was Le Meridian. Am I getting that correct? Meridian.
Something. Yeah.
It was wonderful. It
Yeah,
was
it was
beautiful.
really
It was
nice.
clean. It was just
Yeah.
like check-in was a breeze. And then they had like a very nice place where we could have breakfast, which we did. We actually went outside to do like some just outside exploring and found some like coconuts, and it was really fun. But still holding in my breath because now we've got to get to the port, and I'm not really sure what to expect. Now, we did order an Uber.
I ordered a lift first.
A lift. I'm sorry, and it actually didn't work out.
Yeah.
And why didn't it work out?
Because the lift that we were like promoted, right? It kind of, you open lift and it's like, hey, you can get an extra comfort lift or extra comfort ride for this much. And I was like, all right, it's a little bit cheaper than the others. Extra comfort, that works for me.
Yeah.
Sign us up. It's going to be here in 9 minutes. And it shows up and it gets in. And it's a Toyota Camry, and we go to load up our luggage in the trunk of the Toyota Camry, and all of the 4 bags will not fit.
No. So that was a bummer. It was a
Yeah.
little anxiety because I was
Yeah.
like, are we like late? I'm not really good with knowing exactly. Like this is now next time I will know like my timeline so much better. But the first time around for me is always like a little chaotic. I didn't really understand all our timelines. So we had to be at port at what time?
So this goes into a slightly longer spout. I'm going to spout some information at you before I actually answer your question, because that's how I do things.
But are you talking about the exterior of the port?
Well, I'm talking about what time you're supposed to check in at your port.
Okay. Yeah. Let's
So
hear
you
about
have you have a check-in time that you're assigned, and it's based or an arrival time that they give you. It's a 15-minute window, and it's all by like boarding group, and it's based upon when you checked in. Now, the earliest you can check in is 30 days before your sailing day.
Mm-hmm.
Asterisk, that's for just regular people, normies, first timers. If you're a Castaway Club member, which is for anyone that sailed before, you get additional time before that time, additional days before that 30 days to be able to check in. So if you're like a pearl level, which is, high, platinum level, which is high, you're going to be checking in like 35 days in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you opportunities to book port excursions, onboard events.
Yeah.
Be able to you can make arrangements if you get a room you don't like. You could, it's going to give you a lot of one up, and it's also going to give you an earlier arrival time so that you're able to arrive earlier, get on the ship earlier, and be able to eat chicken tenders earlier.
Yes.
Which is important. There's other ways around that. Like, for example, pro tip, if you stay at a like, I forget if they call them partner hotel. If you stay at a Disney resort, you could actually arrange a bus.
Yes.
And or it also happens for some area hotels that are around the area. I don't have a list of them right now, but they will actually check you in at the hotel and put you right in the first like 4 boarding groups, and you don't even have to like bring your bags anywhere. You just kind of like walk in and go through security, and then you're on the ship. So it is something to look into where you're staying the night before. But Disney's, it's going to cost a little more. You're 4 hours away from where, because our port was in Fort Lauderdale,
Yes.
and obviously Disney Cruise in Orlando, and it's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive.
Right. Yeah. That's a big thing.
So now, with all that being said, our arrival time was 12:15 to 12:30.
Okay.
I don't have our boarding group, what number we were in front of us. It was like pretty high up in the 20s. And that was, again, so it's like 30 days before the trip on midnight, and I kind of slept through. I forgot. I like went to bed and like didn't wake up. I was going to wake up at midnight and check us in and didn't. And then the next morning I'm like rushing as I'm trying to get the kids out the door. And it just, that was the time that we boarded. So it was rather late. Boarding closes or ends, to my knowledge, at 3:30.
Yes.
That day. So that was like the last boarding group. They were closing it up. So like I said, 12:15, we're still 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
But, it was getting in there pretty late. So I wasn't really worried about time.
I don't know. I again, still hadn't exhaled because I think the whole thing is like, it's the unknown for me, right? I didn't really understand this process. Especially when it came to Disney. I was like, it was 20 years ago when I did my last cruise, and I definitely didn't give a crap about timelines.
Yeah. She's getting saucy on a Sunday.
but for this one, obviously I do. I have 2 kids I got to look after, and sometimes a husband I have to look after, make sure everything's okay.
You never know, temperamental. Especially if I'm not eating.
Yeah. Well, so what was that like, right? We finally got the correct size vehicle for us that would guide us there. In this particular port in Fort Lauderdale, there were only really 2 cruise ships around, but this really parking structure, it seemed like, where we were lining up.
Yeah.
So we get dropped off. We drop off our luggage with a dude who did we really know
call
who
him
this
like
dude
a porter.
was?
But they're wearing Disney.
They're wearing Disney outfits.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got you. And they just kind of take your luggage, which you already have your room tag on.
Correct. Prior to sailing, Disney sends out your luggage tags to put on your baggage, and then which you could just hand off to these porters and they'll get it onto the ship.
And then from there we got a little confused because there's not like direction after you get out of the car, like, oh, there's a lot of people standing over in this one area, that must be where we need to stand. And it wasn't. And so then we like found out like, oh, okay, there's actual divided lines in which you need to stand in. It says your time.
And it was more of us just kind of like following the herd. Right?
Yeah.
We were seeing people walk this way along a sidewalk, so let's walk this way.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like heard somebody in like a cast member outfit saying something not very loudly. So then like I had to walk up and like, I'm sorry, what? I think I missed that. What did you say? And she was like, oh, well, this blah, 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 walk over this way.
Right.
Oh, okay. We walk over that way. We find there's a sign that says our boarding time, 12:15 to 12:30. We get in it. And then all of a sudden there's like a guy's like, no. Go over here. Like, what?
And so we're like in a totally different one. Listen, I'm going to say right here that cast members for cruise lines are a completely different breed of human. They are so efficient and so patient that I'm like, wow, like totally wowed by every single cast member I met on this cruise. Awesome. Awesome. Anyways, okay, so we get to the correct line, and it was long, but not too long.
Yeah.
We were kind of like moving at a good pace and collecting our thoughts as we're in this line, so it didn't seem so bad.
They're like letting you up in like groups, like they're letting groups. So you're kind of in this.
Think of Soarin'.
You're in this parking structure, but it's a lot dirtier than Soarin'.
Yeah.
And they're kind of just letting you go into the actual building. In these groups, and eventually you make your way up, and you just you put on your patient pants, and it's a lot of other people lining up now in these subsequent rows that have arrival times after you.
Yes.
And you're seeing them, and now you kind of understand why they're putting you in these groups.
And so then you get to the interior of the actual building. You're past the parking structure, you're in the line, you're seeing some now Disney artwork throughout, and you're kind of like, okay, we're getting close. And then you get in the interior building and you see the winding line you're going to have to wait it.
Now you're like, here's a Disney queue.
but it's also really nice. There's like very cool artwork on the ceiling and on the walls, and you're getting closer, you're getting more excited. It seems to go rather quickly.
It does.
As you're going through that. And once you get up to the actual desk that you meet someone, that's when you get your passports out.
So, yeah.
And is this where they give you... No, we didn't get the magic keys. We didn't get those until
until later. Yeah, no, this is more this where they're checking your passport, and they're checking as you're that part of that check-in process 30 days prior is you have to do all these. You have to provide a picture of your identification, which for adults can be passports or a driver's license. For kids, I think it could just be a birth certificate or a passport. And then you have to also take a picture of yourself.
Yes, and just to let you know, that picture that you take of yourself is going to be sent out to all the attendants that deal with you throughout your cruise. So like the person who does dining with you and their dining assistant, the person who's taking care of you in your room, and anyone else, because they look at that picture and then they memorize your name and they will call you by your name for the entire cruise. So make sure you're not looking weird in that picture.
You finally get through, they verify your identification. You go through a security just like you do at the airport.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of on your way, and then you're looking at the monitors saying what group they're actually boarding. Now, at the time when we got in there, which we were kind of maybe at the tail end of our boarding group, they were already saying all sections boarding. All groups boarding.
Right, which was like...
Now boarding all groups are like, wait,
confusing to me. I thought like that once we got through, we were going to have some sort of prolonged wait in the lounging area where you like sit and chill. That was not the case at all. We were just go right on.
Yeah, just keep moving. And one of the things that you're going to hear, a tip from anyone, is as soon as you get into that building, you're going to get access to the Disney cruise Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And once you hook up to the Wi-Fi, your Disney, your cruise navigator app is going to suddenly change. It's going to open up, unlock its full potential. And it's now going to give you information like your dining reservations, like where your dining schedule. It's going to all of a sudden show all the onboard activities that are coming up, your schedule for the next 5 days.
Excitement.
Yeah, 6 days.
Yeah.
So you're kind of now, as a first timer, like we've only heard and seen people showing, examples of this. Now it's actually happening. It's just, you're taking a lot in. You're like, and I have to board right now, and I'm going in.
Happening? I know, because it's all happening so quickly, it seems.
Yeah, so I was kind of expecting, as you said, to like sit down and wait a little bit and then be able to kind of get my bearings. And
that didn't happen.
No, so we were just going in. You're going in through the Mickey funnel and everything.
Right, so this is the Mickey funnel. Like you could have stopped and taken pictures. We didn't really do that. We just kind of were really excited about getting on. And walking from the boarding gangway, so the building to the ship, and then you have that little pathway that's
I like it, gangway
over. And it was like way more emotional for me than I thought it was gonna be. I look back at my pictures and I was just like panoraming pictures like all throughout. And then I was finally, once we got through that kind of threshold, like the invisible threshold in my mind, I then exhaled. I was like, we made it on
finally on the ship.
This is crazy. We did it. We pulled it off, Rob. We got on this ship.
And we remembered to bring the kids.
And yep. And everybody is like semi-happy. So, okay. It was really cool. It was a really huge relief. And then Rob made it more emotional for me by doing this really amazing trip. Now, when you get on the ship, they announce your names, right? And the Disney Destiny welcomes. And most of the time it will be your last name. And we have mixed last names in this family. So Rob put on his smart dad cap and actually had the announcer say all of our names individually. And he handed the announcer a piece of paper with our names on them. And he was like, cool, no problem. And
he was like, oh, I like this.
He did it without hesitation. And I think that really made it so much. I'm tearing up now talking about it because it was such a little thing that made such a big difference.
Well, that's what we try to do here at the Disney Hour Express. We try to make differences. And of course, we try to handle these moments, right, as best you can. So everyone's different, every family's different. But this is just like a little, a thing that we're going to push forward, and it just made it work, right? So
Right.
it was
Right.
like a point of contention that now turned into just this is great.
Right. So now the time that we're actually getting on,
Yeah.
it's 1 p.m.
Okay. So so it did take some time to get on. It's 1 p.m. and now you're being let into the atrium, right? Of this beautiful 3-story atrium. That's, it's huge. You're just seeing all these things. It has this giant Black Panther chandelier hanging above you, and there's all these aisles and levels and railings and all this artwork, and then there's a balcony right up like 3
Right.
stories up on deck 5. You're on deck 3.
It's huge.
It's huge, and the balcony has a character. I think we had Spider-Man, if I remember correctly. I haven't reviewed
like
our
waving
footage.
at everybody, and I'm like, oh, hey, Spidey.
Oh, yeah, Spidey, and you see like the Black Panther statue, and it's just all this stuff. And again, we're taking in for the first time
Right.
the Disney of it all. Was we're used to just being in the parks.
Right. And we're like, this is like
Yeah.
bigger than life.
Yeah.
And it's just in this little tiny cruise ship, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, okay. So we've seen a lot of pictures and footage of this area, the atrium.
Yeah.
And so, although it was big and beautiful, I think my first wow moment was turning the corner and spotting that kinetic artwork.
Yeah.
The moving. So it's like inspired by Fantasia, and it's like a moving artwork. It moves 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
and it has like a little hidden Disney Destiny in the
Yeah.
background that moves with it.
Mm.
I could have stayed there for like 20 minutes, but
Just watch
really,
it.
I mean, the kids were like, cool, let's go, and I'm like,
Let's get
"Ah."
going. Yeah.
Like, it's one of those really calming things where I think it could just be like an aesthetic background you could have on your computer screen or something, just the way it moves and works
Yeah.
together. It's really cool.
And you're going to find that that's towards the aft of the ship, right?
Yep.
So there's on Ship Talk, when you're on the open seas, the forward. There's forward and aft. So that's the front of the ship is your forward. The aft is your
Booty.
is the back, right?
Yep.
Which we always, for my boating days, was always bow and stern, right? But I guess
Right.
that's
Yeah.
so it's a little bit different. But yeah, that's heading towards the aft of the ship. So we were basically at that point just looking for elevators, right?
Right. I think we were like, okay, got to get some food in here.
Yeah.
Listen, don't worry, guys. By 1:23, we were eating some chicken fingers.
We were eating chicken fingers. So we were heading up to deck 11,
Yep.
right? Which is now the open deck. That's where all the pools are. That's where you're going to, all the chairs, you're going to find the Aquamouse is up there hanging up above you. You got the funnel vision, which is this, giant screen on the outside that's constantly showing Disney movies.
Yeah. So cool.
And it was just like taking all that in and just seeing like the size of everything. That
I
was
know.
also like a big deal for me. And you're feeling like even though you're not actually sailing at this point, but you're feeling like the air and everything. And
I just,
our dogs are,
our
having a
dogs are like
standoff.
eating a thing. It's a rubber band.
So when you come on your ship, there's a couple of food options that are available to you
Yep.
the day you embark. Right now, this is embarkation day, so you can go up to this deck 11 where they have the festival of what's called. It's a little different on every ship, but in the Destiny, it's called the Festival of Foods, and that's what your quick service dining
Yeah.
is going to be. So that's where we decided to eat. You could eat at a place that is now it's a deck down called Marceline Market,
Yes.
right? And so that's your buffet style food. And that you're going to be eating at, that's mainly going to be your breakfast spot, but they do offer lunch. Or there's you can also eat lunch at one of the rotational dining restaurants that changes, and that's going to be like a somewhat limited menu, but it will give you food, and it's actually going to be less crowded than all the other places. I wanted to go to the Festival of Foods because it seemed like the most appealing that would fit everyone's needs.
Yeah.
Right. So it kind of has 5 different places that you can go to It has a like a Mexican food.
Yep.
It has Goofy's Delight. Right. So Donald's Canteen is the Mexican food. Goofy's Delight is the where the chicken fingers are. You're going to get your hamburgers, hot dogs,
Yep.
things like
Yep.
of that nature. There's Daisy's Pizza Pies,
Yum.
which is where they serve. It's pizza, right? It's all pizza. There's the I can't think of the name of it right now. The barbecue location,
Yes.
which it has pulled pork
Amazing
and ribs
mac and cheese.
yeah, mac and cheese, all those things. Then there's Minnie's Delights, which is the soft serve
Yes.
that is running all day. And
Yes.
in this instance, you don't get you don't do it yourself, but you have a cast member that makes the cone for you.
Right.
It was also throughout our cruise the busiest of them all.
But the line went quick. It was
The line did
crazy.
go quick, yeah. And then I feel like, am I missing one?
No, you got the Mexican food,
Yeah, the pizza, the barbecue, the soft serve. Yeah, the Goofies. Then there is a bar that's up there. If you want to go up and get your drink of the day on, get your drink on. On both sides of this, on deck 11, there's also fountain drinks, right? So you can. So this is any time of the day you can come and fill up either water or soft drinks. They have coffee and tea, and this is all included as a part of your a part of your cruise package.
Right. And I totally, right here, I'm going to say I recommend you bring your water bottle so that you can keep hydrated well.
Yes.
They offer water bottles and all sorts of packages and whatnot. And they have the cups right there for your water. But if you drink as much water as we do,
Or as you want to.
Or as you should.
Yes.
Bring those water bottles.
So the rule of thumb with that is anytime you see anything in a can or a bottle, it's going to be an extra charge, right? So anywhere on the ship, there's extra charge, alcohol, any type of adult beverage, alcoholic beverage. They have specialty non-alcoholic drinks. They have specialty coffees and things like that. But anything canned or bottled is going to cost you more. It's going to be an additional charge versus, if you're just pouring it into a cup or your own bottle, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. So I guess what was our first impressions on eating?
Okay, so it's so interesting because I was really excited about these chicken fingers and fries. They're talked about all over the world. And the first day batch of these was not good.
Okay.
I don't understand what was going on. I don't know, maybe they made them earlier and they'd just been sitting out and were hard. But Bailey and I were both what is this?
Oh.
So no, I was not a fan on the first day, and I guess I didn't really partake in them anymore after that. But Bailey did, and she liked them after that. So something about the first day wasn't wonderful.
Now, I'll add to the fact that I had them every day. So,
and did you find a difference on any of the days?
I did not.
Interesting.
I had them every day. And they have pro tip: find the barbecue honey mustard sauce area. The honey mustard sauce is really good.
Good.
It was out of this world. I was ready to put on everything. I was dipping my fries in there. I put a little on my cheeseburger later on. But that first day, now look, cruises, there's a lot of things you could do on a cruise, but the one thing you're mainly there to do is eat. So I feel like this is something I've been practicing for my entire life. So I was ready to go. So I went to Donald's Cantina. I got a burrito and some chicken fingers and fries.
He was ready to go.
Yeah. And really, when we say this is quick service, it's all fresh food. They're actually
they're making it.
They're making it.
Those burgers. I didn't have a burger this day, but I did later on, and then I had another one because they were really good. They were fresh. They were perfect. So yeah, I mean, and then I had one of those Mexican bowls. Where you can also do the burritos there, but I had a bowl, and that was my favorite. If I could eat that every day,
this is this is giving you Chipotle level options.
You're than Chipotle. Don't offend Disney.
I know, but it was similar in the going to a Qdoba or a Chipotle or whatever you're gonna do, and you get to choose all your what you're gonna put in there.
Yeah,
and then they have a salsa bar, which they have hot sauce. None of our group was gonna touch that, but anyway.
So listen, we're still on our first day here. Okay, by 2:03 now.
Yeah.
We've eaten, we're full, we're crazy, and we're at the front door of our stateroom, right? It's the first time we're going
Yes.
in. And this is where they actually leave your card keys to the room. So your keys to a world, that's what they call them, outside of your stateroom. And this
Yeah.
allows you to get in. So it was cool.
And so this is a room, everyone's rooms are typically all ready by 1:30. After
Yep.
1:30, you can go in, so if you boarding the ship after that, you can go directly to your room. But, we had a little bit of time and then we wanted to go check out this room. What was your, I guess, impressions of the room?
Absolutely incredible, like blew my mind.
Okay.
Again, like we've seen so many videos and so many pictures of this, but getting in there and seeing, really just like kind of walking through and seeing the veranda was just like, wow, because we're looking at the other side, we're looking at the water from our veranda at that point.
Yes.
And I think, right?
No, we were looking at
we were looking at the port.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were looking at the Princess cruise ship over there.
Yeah.
But just like, knowing that, like, okay, so we have an unobstructed view. It's amazing. We know it's going to be incredible, and this is like our home. First looks at like the toilet room versus the sink and shower room. Okay, cool. I can deal with this. And just the closet space and stuff. Nothing felt small to me.
Okay.
We had plenty of space between me and Rob to unpack our stuff. And then the kids had plenty of space, plenty of drawers and nooks.
Yeah.
We had shelves that we didn't use, right?
Yeah.
So it was great. We did use a little bit of this time to unpack and like not really unpack here. No, we didn't have our luggage yet.
Yeah.
That was a little bit later in the night. Sorry about that. But it was such a wow. So wow.
Very wow.
Now we had the the brave artwork over our bed,
so
which was
all of
lovely
the
looking.
all the different floors are themed. The staterooms are themed by floor. And so our particular floor, we were in room 9626.
Yes.
And
626. That's how we had to remember it. 9626.
Yeah, there we go. Stitchy. So it was a brave room. So it had this beautiful brave artwork hanging up over our bed. And then just a kind of animation artwork throughout it, kind of a couple pictures here and there, and it was very nice. It was very beautiful. I said there's a lot of room, a lot of desk shelf space. The split bathrooms, I think, were kind of like made things just easier.
Yeah, they really did.
So you're gonna get in one bathroom, you have a commode, you have the king's throne,
but it has a sink, it has shelves, and it has hooks for towels. So if you had bathing suits and stuff, you could hang them in there. So
exactly.
That was great.
So it kind of gives
needed two kids brushing teeth.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So it's like people aren't just fighting and waiting for the shower because someone else has to use the facilities. You now could go over to the other bathroom to take, and that's where your shower is, and another sink.
Yeah.
With a lighted mirror, and it even has a mirror on the door behind you, so that you're getting all angles. You
are, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, especially for those of us that are bald and have to shave our heads. It's
Yeah. No, there was like a kind of, you just have to realize that when you're using the restrooms, like there's a step up into these facilities. So there were a time or two where when I was coming out and I forgot about the step down. Yeah. But lucky for me, there's not a whole lot of room between walls. So you just kind of bounce off the other wall and you're like, oh, okay, good. Well, everything's fine.
Abby's pinballing in the bathrooms. That's what we just get into. Now, good. One of the things to note and that we all kind of dealt with throughout the trip is that the toilet itself is loud.
Oh my gosh!
When you flush it, it's loud. Yeah. It just
they really want that waste to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like being in an airplane bathroom, right? Yeah. It kind of has that same similar feel. It's a little bit bigger than that, but kind of like that, but the same type of. It feels like it's sucking force of everything, and then it just pow, and it's like this loud thing.
But you can only hear your toilet flush, not other rooms' toilets flush, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Except for, okay, so there was this one time I was in the shower portion
Yeah.
and I could hear another family, like their kid was like screaming, whatever. That kid did not want to take a bath. Like, I'm going to tell you. So there must be some sort of like piping that like is shared. But I was kind of like laughing. I was like, well, if you can only hear other rooms in the bathroom, like that's cool. That's cool.
That is funny.
Listen, I know you're like looking at our lengthiness. We might have to split this episode up because we're still only on the first day, guys.
So we're not going to do a full day by day run through. It's just going to take too long.
I know.
I know. As much as we want to.
So of course we're still on this first day, and we like run on to see like the Oceaneers Club and the Edge.
So that's what we wanted to do. Was the first day also is that, and this is the first day I think is important, and then the rest of it kind of you start to fall into a pattern. So the first day, the kids clubs all have open houses up until about I think it's like 5:30 of that day.
Yeah.
So you're able to go in, because other than that, when it's not an open house, it's just for cast members and the kids in that age. Like, parents aren't allowed through the gates.
Yeah.
So if you want to go check everything out, this is the time to do it. So we went down to the Oceaneers Club, which is the club for kids 3 through 10. And so that's where our Bailey fell into. So we wanted to go check this out for her. And it's kind of like one club, but it has multiple themed rooms.
Oh, it was amazing.
Right? So they have a Marvel room, they have a Star Wars room, they have a little like reading nook for Beauty and the Beast.
Yep.
They had like a Frozen area, I think, or it was just like a princess area, I believe it was, where you could kind of do like, it was like these tables you could do arts and crafts on. They had a Rapunzel area as well. And then there was like the Imagineering lab, which I don't even think we went into. Yeah. To be honest with you, when we were checking it out.
I mean, we walked by it for sure, but yeah.
Now, I will say, going into this, it was chaotic. Like, kind of opening, like, so the open house was chaotic because it's just parents bringing kids in and everyone's
kids zooming everywhere.
Yeah, just zooming and checking everything out. And they got they have this kind of interesting water, how you wash your hands, right? Obviously, on a cruise, they're really big about spreading of germs. Yeah. So they're going to make sure that all these kids, especially because kids are touching everything,
wash their hands on the way in and on the way
right. So there's two ways to get into the Oceaneers Club. It's by slide or by stairs. But either way, you're coming in and you're going to wash your hands. Yes. And ours had this really cool Wreck-It Ralph theme on the slide, and so the kids liked it. But that's your chance to check that out. Yeah. We also went up to Edge.
Yes, which was cool.
Which is
way cool.
The next level up. It's for kids 11 through 14. Now, as a note, if your child is 10, you can get them signed to go into Edge. Yeah. Right? But they're going to be with possibly 14-year-olds.
You got to be cool with that.
So we did it. Heidi is 11, so we wanted her to go check out the space. The Oceaneers Club, the only way the kids could get picked up or dropped off is by a parent, and it's very secure. You have a code that Abby definitely remembered that we set it up.
I totally didn't remember, and like I felt like such an idiot. They're like, "What's your secret passcode?" And I'm like, And then like Bailey's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, I have no idea. I know I talked about it with my husband. I'm like somewhat thinking that I can remember the moment we talked about it. As far as the word. Not a chance.
Yeah, but so anyway, so there's like they do have it's like multi-factor authentication to pick up your child, despite the fact that they're looking at you.
And they're looking at the picture of you too.
Yeah, and they're looking at the picture of you as well. So you get past these things, but that's the only way. So now for Edge, kids once they're like checked in, they could come and go as they please. Right. And so that was kind of like a little bit of an issue, like.
I was
not
an
issue, but it was something we were concerned.
Yeah,
it was a little bit something we were concerned, especially just in.
It's a young age to let somebody just go.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I got to say, Heidi, like, she loved. She was like, she was like, I'm free.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys are driving me around everywhere, and I got to do all this stuff. Like I'm on the ship,
from
and
A to B
we were like,
myself.
She kind of figured out how to get around the ship pretty easily.
Yeah.
And that has to do with the fact that on your Disney Cruise Line, the Navigator app, you're able to, if you have a Disney account, you could sign up no problem. But you have to be 13 years old to have a Disney account.
So that was a problem.
That was a problem.
And so while we're in the first time we were able to get Wi-Fi on the ship, we had to set
her
up
so that's
a special account.
You're only able to do that once you get on the Wi-Fi. So you can't do that prior to boarding, prior to showing up there. We had to wait to do that. So we had to get her access. We wanted to give her access because she does have a cell phone. And I think that also made a big difference because she was able to look at a map and check things off and kind of see stuff. But I mean, she was leading us around and knew where to go. And so it was nice to be able to give her that sense of freedom and kind of the responsibility. And you are a little bit worried whenever she would go somewhere, we would make sure, hey, you got there, text us that you got there. The communication on the ship is another kind of issue.
Right.
And I know we are going, oh boy.
Sorry,
guys. So one of the things it's not like you're staying at a Best Western or a Hilton and you're just going to get free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
There's no like free internet service necessarily, but there is like in-ship internet. So you get connected, you can access your Disney, your Navigator app, which you need to be able to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So you're able to do that. So that doesn't cost anything. There's a chat built into the Navigator app that marginally works.
Yeah.
It does. You can communicate between members of your party or other people if you sign up and allow them to become, part of that. And it kind of works. We were finding that the notifications weren't coming
didn't pop up
as frequently as we would like, or consistently.
Yeah.
So there's also that messaging on your iPhones works as well. So we were able to just, as long as we were going iPhone to iPhone, it worked. What I found that what I understand that if you don't have an iPhone and you have an Android phone, you could use the WhatsApp works really well as well. So you can kind of do that. So if you're like at a mixed party, you could all download WhatsApp and just have that work.
That's cool. That's
to be able to send texts and stuff. You're not gonna be able to make calls, but you could send texts, and that's that's mostly what we do anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that was the part. So that was like that kind of like just assured us that we would be able to like kind of keep, hey, you're doing this, let us know when you get there.
Right. So these clubs were really cool. They really allowed.
Yeah.
We can talk more about it in depth at another time. But I mean, the Edge was pretty cool. I would have hung out in there and just chilled and played some games, and they had movies going. They also had your classic like chess and spotted, all sorts of games. And they continuously had open houses throughout the cruise, which allowed both kids to kind of go there and chill, which was great. So now let's keep going. I mean, it's 4 p.m. and we're already back on deck 11 for the sail away party.
Well,
we're getting
before
our
we
spots.
get to that,
no, did I miss something?
As the kids call it, the mustard drill.
The mustard
Forgot about the
drill. I
mustard
forgot all about it because, to be honest,
it's kind of forgettable.
That memorable.
Yeah, it was pretty forgettable.
I mean,
but
they
really
talk about it and really push it.
Yeah,
so
they really
hard.
make you a point. So it's a requirement for every person on board to attend what they call a muster drill, which is basically just a safety and emergency drill. And so they put you, they start reminding you from 3:00 on, because everyone has to go attend this at the same time at 3:30. Is that you're assigned a station and where you're supposed to go, and
in case
everyone,
of an emergency.
and everyone has to check in, and it's this whole thing. And they go and give you the whole spiel, kind of like on an airplane, but a little bit more in depth.
I really didn't feel
fun.
like it was in depth at all. I was still kind of like, they're just like, and you can find your vest, but if you forget a vest, we'll have vest here. Like,
for you,
it just, there was nothing in depth. And I think there's a reason for that, right? Because people already have anxiety being on this cruise ship.
Yeah.
And there was no like, you go to this emergency boat or that or whatever. Nothing. Because I think as I learned going about the ship too, there's so many other things that can happen other than like
Oh,
a
boy.
ship sinking, right?
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't think about any of this stuff. There could be a fire on a portion of the ship, and they actually have fire doors for everything. Like when I was in one of the restrooms, I could have pressed the button and had the fire door come down, but
Yeah.
I didn't, even though I had a huge urge to see what would happen, right? And then there was fire doors throughout that we saw. One was open and one was closed
Yeah.
as we were going on a ship tour. But anyways, there are other things that can happen that so they don't even highlight on any of the things that can
Yeah.
happen, other than like, you've got a life vest in your room. If there's an emergency, this is where you meet your group O. That's it.
It's Group O, similar to my blood type.
Me too.
Hey,
Look at that.
wait a minute. I don't have no idea what my blood type is.
I don't think it is. So.
Oh, wait, how do you know?
Because I seem to know a lot about you. Anyways,
Wait, are we married?
all right. So now it's 4 p.m. and we're back on the main deck, deck 11, which again, I had to ask like 10,000 times what deck I needed to be on, because remember, Abby doesn't do things well the first time. I need some run-ins, right?
And so here's an important pro tip. Basically, you're going to be on, remember these decks. Whatever deck your stateroom's on, that's an important one, right? So it starts with a 9.
And if you're in the aft or...
Yes, but you could get through by that. You could figure that out. There's tips.
Can you? Because I took some really long walks.
Oh, right. So you're basically going to be on decks 3, 4, 5 for the majority of your trip, your stateroom deck, and deck 11. Now there's decks above deck 11,
yes,
but they're kind of like partial decks because they're not like full. They don't run the length of the ship. So there's various activities and dining experiences and so on and so forth. But it's really 3, 4, 5, your stateroom, and 11. Those are the important ones. If you remember those, and that you're just going to be going back and forth from all of those a lot.
Yeah.
So as we get up now after the muster drill, you gotta kind of have to because everyone's at the muster drill.
Yes.
And then everyone is at their muster drill.
You're not taking elevators. You're going to get your workout here. Okay.
Yes. Unless
depending on where your drill was, but our drill was like what, floor 3?
If we were in 1923, which is on floor 3, which is just beyond the atrium.
And we got to get to 11.
We got to get up to 11 in order to get so now everyone is going to attend the sail away party. So it's going to get crowded, and so you're either hoofing it or waiting for the elevators because you want to get a good spot, especially if you have kids.
Yep. Because
you don't want to deal with people standing in front of you, and you want like a little bit of space. Now we got there pretty early.
We did. I mean, there was, we didn't want to do front row, standing right there.
We could have stayed on deck 11 and stood right in front of the roped off stage area that they had booked out. We could have stayed there, but we were like, you know what? Let's go up to deck 12.
Yes.
Which runs along the perimeter of the ship and kind of gives an overview of deck 11 in the main pools activity area.
Yeah. It's a great bird's eye view kind of thing going on there. And so I loved that we stood in this area. I know it was kind of we're looking at the show diagonally, but we were right there. Yeah. I felt like you could even at one point reach out your hand and they could high five you as they were going up the stairs. Not really, but air high five. It was very close.
Yeah.
The show was so good. Right away, you could tell that these dancers and cast members were dedicated to making this the best show you've ever seen in your life. And this is just the sail away party.
Yeah.
What? Mind blown already. I'm already where did these people come from? I know that they're this is their dream. They're on this cruise ship, but it was so much more energy than I've even seen at Disney. And it was It was an incredible sail away party. And then you're kind of like there watching this show happen and you're feeling the ship start to move because it's kind of adjusting itself throughout. And you look like you have something to say.
Well, no, I was gonna say it's funny because I didn't even realize like we were actually moving.
Yeah, because you
until later.
you were videoing that show, so I think you were looking down,
Okay.
and I was kind of like, oh, I was looking all around, and I could see, because we're on this deck where you can see out that we were moving, and I was actually feeling the water kind of come.
Yes, that I was feeling.
Yeah, and so we
did start moving.
moving.
And so this party, it's basically Mickey and Minnie, or the Fab Five, and then they'll like start celebrating that you're going on vacation. Then they bring out like all these other characters, all these princesses, all these princes. Spider-Man drops down.
Oh
does a
my
thing
gosh, I got
where-
so many pictures because I was just like, this is incredible.
Where
He's
he's
just like on a ship, like coming out of nowhere. Like, what is happening?
And then like you're seeing the cruise directors and
Yes.
stuff, and then they finally, they have and then the dancers are coming out, and it's just high energy, and they're getting everyone like excited because that's what they want you to do is to be excited. You're
Yeah,
finally here,
I
and
know.
you're about to
We
take
are.
off, and then they say and they do a countdown, and then you hear the horn, the famous Disney horn,
Which was so great.
And now you're moving.
And
Now you're
here's my mom's side story. So
Oh, boy.
obviously we all like try to get like great standing parts, and we do our mama bear thing where we kind of like block each other off. But and there was a woman next to me who was with her parents on this cruise, and she was kind of taking up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I'm going to take up my space. You take up your space. Now another set of kind of like maybe an older sister and her two young siblings, I'm going to say,
Okay.
came and kind of wiggled into the space between me and this other woman that had kind of been standing there. I didn't care. I was kind of like, cool. There was just this feeling that I was just like, these little girls are going to see this show, and I'm already feeling how amazing this is going to be. And I'm like, I'm good. I can see over my daughter, and I can I'm great. The woman on the other side cared very much, said some very mean words. Now, the family in between us, English
Okay.
was not the number one language, which was fine. And I kept saying like, come like in front of me. And like, I'm trying to like make this a comfortable scenario so this other person could like just take a beat. And so it kind of like, that's the only kind of weird scuffle-luffle, even though it wasn't a scuffle, it was only in my mind, right? Where I was overthinking it, but I was just kind of like, why? I get it. We're standing here and we're like guarding our territory so we can have a good view of the show, but also it's about just like the enjoyment and being peaceful with each other and like finding this way that we can all work together. So I think that kind of like brought me into a weird space where I was just like, is it going to be like this the whole time? Are we going to be fighting each other over every single show in space? And I have to just say it wasn't like that at all. It was just this particular, I think everybody's coming off of we just traveled to get here and we fought over food and tables and blah, blah, blah. And so the heightened, maybe like we're not on vacation yet, heightened experience or feelings were still there, and then like they seem to all fade throughout, and I never experienced that again throughout
the only
this.
time it ever gets that crowded again is a few days later on Pirate Night, because that's a similar thing where like kind of everyone's there for Pirate Night and fireworks, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
A little bit.
But we're still kind of going on our first day.
But
Yeah.
so after this,
we
had, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We had door decorating. It was our time to start getting into the pixie dust.
There is a whole cruise subculture and full of Facebook groups and such of people. It's door decorating, and so it's kind of like Abby found this Facebook group, and
That's
it's like
right.
organized
just for the Disney Destiny
for this particular
cruise.
And you just start like you join it, and you kind of everyone's talking about the same thing, but they're also talking about what they're doing and like what room you're going to be in, and you could give like your kids names, and they'll bring stuff specifically for these kids if you tell them the
like, oh,
lights.
so and so's birthday's this day. Can you guys please
Oh, they
bring
really
something?
like Stitch. Can you bring them this and all this stuff? We chose not to.
People were really serious about it. I didn't really tell anyone our room number because I like a little bit of privacy.
Yeah.
But we did put up, and I always get this wrong. What are they called? The fish? Whatever. I wish I knew the name. Anyways, they're like little pockets that you put up. Fish extenders.
Fish extenders.
And then magnets. We magneted out our door like so big time.
And as you're walking through and you're seeing on this first day, I mean, some people go above and beyond.
Oh, they have like lights.
Yeah, there's lights and patterns and shows like little like video. Some people had like video screens of things. I mean, it was.
They order like tapestries.
Yeah,
with their
I mean,
names
it's
on
really
them.
like they do this whole thing, and obviously there's people that have been on like a ton of cruises, and that's what they do, and that's
cool. I like it.
Abby enjoyed doing it. She had a fun little video that she put out, and it gives you like a chance to get creative.
Yeah. And like just be a part of something bigger.
The kids enjoyed it because it was like
loved it.
Every time they came back, and even though we didn't give our name or we didn't like participate like in this group in that level, it was still like almost every time we came back to the room, like there was something in the kids' pockets, right? Because you have like these pockets and that has their names and it's kind of showing them. And there were like these little gifts that would be in there.
And it was never like candy or anything. It was something like a sticker or a pin or a straw, a Mickey straw, but it also went to like some really, really nice Tinkerbell pins where I'm like, what? That's crazy.
And there was like somebody dropped off a recipe and said, "Hey, we really like your room, and here's a recipe for something."
So we had some stickers of turtles that we passed out. We also had some individually wrapped like surprise packs that were, you open them up and they'd be like little bunnies or ducks or whatever, So those were a big hit.
And we also had a 30-pack of pirate eye patches that we left at home.
Yeah,
so if anyone needs 26 pirate eye patches, please reach out to us in the comments.
Yep. But so definitely make sure that door decorating is a thing.
Don't also feel like you have to participate,
and you don't have to say I'm going to drop something off for your birthday. Just enjoy it. Enjoy even
it's
just
like
sightseeing.
If you choose to
doors.
participate, it's fun, and if you don't, you're still gonna.
But this was like another autonomy thing for the kids. I was like, "Here's your stuff. Go find doors, and then come back." And they loved that. It was great.
And about that time, as you're coming back to the room, that was when I think we started also getting. Our luggage is now showing up.
That's right. And Mario, our amazing room attendant.
Yeah, our stateroom attendant or host, they call them different things. But so this gentleman or gentlewoman, whoever it's going to be, wherever your cruise is, ours happened to be a person by the name of Mario. And he's going to be the one that's going to be cleaning your room, straightening up your room, and/or he's gonna like set it up for nighttime, right? Because they kind of most of the rooms have a bunk bed that pulls out from the ceiling that's locked. You can't do it yourself, so they're the ones that are going to do it in your stateroom, or they have like a Murphy bed that folds down.
Yes, yeah.
Which I think ours actually had both, but there's only 4 of us.
Right. So we could have technically had 5 people sleeping in our room, right? But
Orlando's very upset that we didn't take them.
For sure.
But so we did meet Mario. He, kind of introduced himself. He brings your luggage. Yeah. Make sure you're getting your luggage. And I think the 3 girls were there. And then I was up, I think I was filling up our water bottles or something. So I came after. And, he's like, "Oh, did you get your, because I think mine was missing or somebody's was missing.
Heidi's was missing. And
but it does.
And he knows all our names. Yeah. He's seen our faces. He knows who we are. And that was kind of creepy at first, but then it was also like, well, nope, I respect your job and what you're doing, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
And you're doing a great job. And you're going to see him, all throughout the ship. And he's the one that's going to make the towel animals that are going to come to your ship. So we at that time, now is when we got our luggage, right? I think
Yeah.
as I was walking in, Heidi showed up. So we were able to now start unpacking.
Right, because she went to like a something over at the edge, right?
Yeah.
It was some sort of game. Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're getting a chance to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
We had when you sign up, when you get in there and you get your I can talk. When you get your rotational dining, when you go to check in, you're going to be assigned a time where there's two seatings.
Yes.
And so the first one is at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then ours was at, or there's at 5:30. I think it's 5:30 and 8:15.
8:15, yeah.
And so 5:30 is our normal eating time. So 8:30, 8:15 is a little bit late for us. There's some pros and cons to that.
Right.
The 8:15, right? Most people with younger kids are going to want the 5.
Yeah. They're going to fight for that time.
Yeah, they're going to fight for the time. Oh, now I remember where I was, and we'll talk about it in a second. So the they're going to want the 5:15 time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be, if you have the 8:15 time, there's going to be less kids. And I think I did find that mostly it seemed like there wasn't as many children as I've seen throughout the ship at the later seating. And you're going to have that seating every day of the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
You can change it. It can be changed.
Yeah.
You can make changes because you're on the day when you find out what your first night is, what restaurant you're going to your first night, you're also going to find out the subsequent nights, and you can adjust that based on a number of factors. Where I was at the guest relations.
That's right.
Which is up on deck 4, right? And so the reason I was going there was there's something called the Royal Gathering, which is where you go and you can meet 4 princesses it's like quick succession. You kind of just go across the stage in the atrium and you have a little bit of an interaction with them and then you take pictures and you move on. And they kind of have assigned times. It's free of charge, but you have to sign up for it in advance. I missed it because we checked in. I didn't wake up in time to check in. Yeah. But you are able to go up on the ship. So I waited in a little bit of a line, and there's a lot of people. It looks like a longer line than it is, but they have a good amount of cast members helping you out. I went in there and I said, well, I'm looking to join the Royal Gathering. So she takes my room number and she's doing stuff. It's oh, and I have a dining question. And so she was like, she's like, okay, I'm going to put you on a standby line. And she's doing stuff, but it's if you have a dining question, you need to go up to the Triton Lounge on deck 5, right now. And I was oh, okay. And she's wait, she's no, I mean, go right now. You have a couple of minutes and they're going to close the dining scheduling for the cruise. And I was oh, okay. And I rushed up and there's people waiting that have just been dealing with everyone's dining requests.
Yeah.
And it was ultimately ours. I didn't even need to go up there. It was fine because when we were going to World of Marvel on Pirate Night, and the kids wanted to see the show at World of Marvel or the entertainment there, and I was worried that Pirate Night wasn't going to have the show.
Yeah.
Because they don't do, as far as I know, if you go to Pride Lands, they don't have the Pride Lands entertainment that night.
Oh.
On Pirate Night.
Right.
But the World of Marvel, they just did it. So the gentleman that I spoke to, he was no, he's it's even though it's Pirate Night, the menu's different, but they still have the entertainment there.
Yeah.
So you can experience that. More to come on that when we get to that part.
When
we review that. But yeah, so that's where, and that was quick and everything, they have it down pat. I wasn't in line. It took me minutes, to get all that stuff taken care of on the first day. Mm-hmm. And you're going to find the guest relations is somewhat still being occupied because there's other things that are going to happen, but they handle everything pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. So that didn't take too long.
Yeah. So now we packed. Now it's
unpacked. Yeah.
Now we unpacked. I'm already looking to duck this embarkation.
No way. I mean, this is a lot to do in one day.
And it was, and especially to take it all in for the first time.
Yes.
No matter as how much prepared as I thought I was, it was still a lot. You're still kind of trying to figure things out and get all the scheduling done.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So now we kind of have, I don't know if we did anything between like unpacking and door decorating,
Yeah.
because the next thing I have in my notes is that we went to Pride Land.
Yeah. So that was our first night
Mm-hmm.
dinner. It was Pride Lands. And again, as you're walking through this beautiful corridor, right? They have these
Yes.
beautiful windows all
So
along.
nice.
And it's like has this very like changing lighting. It's like going from sunset to
Yes.
nighttime, and it's very relaxing. But you're in a big line of people because everyone's kind of waiting to go eat now. It's 8:15. As you're anytime you're entering one of your rotational dining spots, there's going to be people handing you handy wipes.
Yep.
And you have to use them. You have to wipe off your hands and discard them because again, they don't want the spread of germs.
Yeah.
Happen.
Love this. I love this.
Yeah.
And I wish they did it at the parks, but I understand the expense is probably pretty incredible to have all these things.
In your Disney Navigator app on your main page or on like where you're going to see your schedule, it's going to give you a table number, and they're going to ask you for your table number, and that's where they're going to lead you to your table. So you do have to know that. Not everyone in your party has to know that, just 2 people.
Ask me, what day was it when I learned our table number?
But because you know what, Abby's bringing up the rear with another kid, and then me and the other kid are aware of what's going on.
Right. There are 2 that know and 2 that just show up.
But hey, that's how it is. We need the emotional heart. So they bring you over to your table, and that's where you're going to meet your main server. Ours was a person by the name of Nella.
Yeah, Nella.
She was
today. Heidi goes while we're eating, and we had a wonderful brunch over at Rob's brother's house, and we're there, and for some reason she leans over and she's like, "I miss Nella." It's like, oh,
she's like being served to. So they're gonna kind of come and introduce themselves, and they have a spiel, and they explain how things are gonna go, and give you a rundown of what to expect from them. So you're going to have a main server, you're going to have an assistant server as well. And so you get introduced to them. And these people are going to be with you at every dinner that you have at rotational dining,
right?
Which again is all free of charge. And you're going to be with them, and you're going to meet them, and they're going to try to get to know you a little bit better. One of the things that we found out that was interesting was that they took our drink orders, right? And
they did, yeah.
So Abby and I was like so worried about being seasick. I was like, I'm not drinking alcohol on the first day.
Yeah.
And so,
well, and you were just getting over a cold.
Yeah, I was just, so I had like a sinus infection. So I was like, I'm not going to drink anything. I'm just going to stick to, sodas and water. So we ordered Diet Cokes. The kids, we had them order Sprite.
Yes, because no caffeine. Okay.
Yeah, because it was later, and again, it was the first night. That drink order is going to stick with you.
Yeah, you will get it every single night.
So it was like every time we were sitting down at another dining table, it was like, oh, wait, 713's here. Put in the drinks; they're coming out, and you just say, okay, here you go. So I just found that interesting. I mean, I'm sure there was a way we could have been like, you know what, the kids actually want Dr. Pepper or something else. But they were just like, nope, they're getting Sprite every night. So I did find that interesting.
Yeah.
And like I said, as Nella was very good, she let's talk about Pride Lands. Let's talk about.
So what an interesting experience, because again, we've seen a lot of video footage from Pride Lands. We kind of knew a little bit of what to expect. Yeah. Now our table was very close. It was on the aisle in which servers walk up and down, or you would potentially walk to your tables, and then there was the server station in the background. Yeah. So it was a little bit further from the stage. And I think that the show and the stage for me was a very background thing. As if we were closer, it would have been more active in my experience of Pride Lands. I really couldn't tell you a whole lot about the show. I felt like I was a little bit too far away.
I think the show itself it's like a quick retelling of Simba's story. which is essentially the Lion King, right?
Yeah.
But then there's no characters, there's no one dressed up.
Right.
There are
There's
people
a lot of
that
facial
there
and
are
hand
people that
acting.
are like portraying some of the characters in certain ways, and it's everyone's dressed in beautiful like African garb,
Yes.
like robes and things like that, and they're very talented singers singing out some of the songs from either the movie or the Broadway show that we weren't necessarily familiar with everyone, but it was entertaining, right? And like I said, all the time during this, like the lighting's changing, and and you're being brought out, your food after you go to pick. They bring you a menu, and you pick your appetizer, your entree, and your dessert all at the same time. And then they just bring it out as they can. And in this instance, in Pride Lands, they have it kind of somewhat timed to the entertainment. So it was like there was some singing some songs, and then all of a sudden, like the entertainers just kind of leave the stage, and here comes your appetizer.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, okay,
all right. And then there's a little bit more, and then here comes your entree, and then a little bit more, and here's your dessert. What did you think of the food on that first night?
Okay, so I went with, I don't remember what I had for appetizer. I think I just had a salad.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was very earthy, which is fine. But for my main dish, I went with a vegetarian option. It was the vegetable tagine, I think.
Okay.
Or, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It was great. It was so flavorful and something so different. Like I cannot make this, and that's actually why I ordered it, because I was like, this is not something I would make. Like I didn't want to get like a regular chicken dish or anything. And Nella was like, no, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fantastic. Now, I was kind of juggling kids, having to go to the bathroom and stuff, so I didn't have the opportunity to really eat my whole dish and enjoy it fully, but it was something I would order again.
Okay.
It was great. A little on the spicy side, which is
it's
not my jam.
Disney spice.
But
it's Disney spice. Again, you're anti-spice, so it's
it
Disney
was
spice.
so good. It was so flavorful.
I took a couple bites while she was gone.
I thought it was fantastic. So I wish I could go back and have it again in a more like slow paced environment. That being said, like I know that the dinners took a lot of time because again, there's a show, then you eat, then there's more show and you eat. But for some reason I still felt a little rushed. I don't know what. Maybe it's just where we were sitting and that it was like a fast paced environment around us.
All right.
What did you think of your dish?
Yeah, I mean, so here I'm going to give you a pro tip that Nella passed on to us. If you're looking at your menu and you see the bottom of the menu is kind of their, like they're always there dishes, like they're perma dishes or perma options, entrees that they're going to offer all the time. She said if you look a little higher, they kind of do change and rotate. So you might want to try something up there, something a little higher up. So there were 2 chicken dishes that I was going to try. One was just like roasted chicken, seemed kind of bland. I was like, all right, whatever. But then there was another one that had like more flavor to it.
Yeah.
And so I did go with that, and it was very good.
Yeah.
One of the big concerns that we had was how were our kids going to do with eating, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone in their family, there's going to be some kids are picky, some kids are more adventurous. It's just the way of the world. They do bring out kids menus, which anybody can order off a kids menu, or anybody could order off an adult menu. Like there's no like age thing that they're looking at. So it was that our youngest one was ordering off the adult menu and our older one was ordering off the kids menu.
Yep.
So, but it just kind of worked out that way. And the kids menu is what you would think. It's like pizza. They did have like a different type of steak option. It was like a prime sirloin or something. And like mini cheeseburgers. I think that's what Heidi ended up going with, and Bailey was just like, she wanted to read the adult menu. Yeah. She wanted to order everything on her own.
She did great.
Yeah, and she was like, I want this salad. And she was like, this steak, I'm going to have this steak.
Yes. Yeah.
And she picked out her vanilla, her ice cream.
Yeah.
They had the zebra sundaes, which are very good.
Which I think we all kind of had, right?
Yeah, I think so. Except for you.
I thought I had it too.
No, you didn't.
What did I have?
Because we forgot that we had ice cream earlier in that day.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
didn't have the zebra sundae.
Yes.
I had something else. I don't
Yeah.
remember. Oh, I had the donuts, the African donuts that you
Oh.
dipped in chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were okay.
They were okay. So, I mean, and the like I said, the food itself, a couple of things you could do. You can basically order whatever you want. Like
So,
if you
and
want,
that's one of the things. You could order multiple dishes.
yeah.
And if I wasn't so like worried about like food waste and like what people were thinking of me,
Yeah.
I probably would have gotten
Mm.
like at least 2 dishes to try. But
Yeah.
like I just was feeling a little self-conscious about that.
No, I got you, and you don't know, and there's social norms and everything that we're like, oh, what's this person ordering? Like,
And of course, Rob like points out the famous YouTuber sitting next to us, and I'm like, okay, gotta be on my best behavior.
and I'm like, I'm gonna order 2 appetizers, so this is what I like. Yeah, so that was, it was a good meal. The entertainment was enough. We had heard that the Pride Lands was loud.
Yes,
It didn't feel that loud to us.
It didn't.
One of the kids, I mean, I'll just say Bailey's kind of hearing audio sensitive.
Right.
A lot
So
of
we
things-
always have hearing
It was
protection.
hearing protection
for, like,
anyway, but we did give them to her, but I don't think she needed them.
Right, and she wore them. And
Yeah,
it was
she wore
fine.
them anyway, but it wasn't like over. But I guess if you're closer to the stage, it's just going to naturally
Yeah.
be louder.
We didn't know where our seating was going to be, right? And
Yeah, so we were further away, and it was nice because it was open. We weren't like we were at the end of the table set, but we weren't like, up against a wall. So it kind of felt like we had more room.
yeah.
So I did kind of enjoy that, and it was a good experience. Nella, one of the things that she was like, she figured out how to endear herself to our kids was that she was going to give them brain teasers.
Oh my gosh, and this is so
Yeah.
Heidi's thing. Like this is a big deal. Well, really to both of them. They love brain teasers.
And so they put them out. She like using the crayons because they're kids, so they bring them crayons so they're allowed, they could color while they're waiting for their foods or whatever. And she just like arranged crayons and then said, how do you move this triangle to that? And it was just, and then she was like, I'll come back and tell you. And like the kids we're all trying to figure it out. And who has this? And then she tells us, and it was, it was a typical brain teaser solution. And you're like, oh, that's great. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to make sure I have brain teasers for the rest of our trip and I'm going to do them every night. And she did.
Fun.
And the kids were really,
they were looking forward to them and talking about them the whole time, which is great. It's just that extra mile they go. So now, guys, we've just had this really long dinner, a really long day.
Yeah.
It's getting around 10:05 is when we get back to our room.
Okay.
To see our adorable towel and blanket bear.
Yeah.
Made out of, because they make you like
The
little
towel animals that they
towel
leave right on the
animals.
main bed as you walk in.
So we've got like I don't know, that is a bear, right? Not
think
like a
so.
dog. It's a bear.
I think it's a bear.
And then of course they leave. I know that they're just tough chocolates, but there's something about these chocolates that are like, they're so stinking good. And I know that because I hoarded all of them and then hid them when we got home. And now I like eat them.
She hid them, asterisk. I know where they are.
Now we ate all of them.
I did not
But
eat
they
them.
say,
Don't
okay, so they
accuse me.
leave these towel animals and then they'll leave the chocolates, but they say sweet dreams on them, which is really sweet. See, you didn't even know they
I
said
didn't even
sweet
know
dreams.
that. Sweet
You just
dreams.
eat
I
them.
had no idea.
Yeah, so they're called the sweet dreams treats. And so we come back to the room, that is there, and this is like getting towards the end of the night, and then I'm thinking to myself, wow, I brought a book to read on this cruise so that I was gonna relax and read.
Yeah. And what's the rest of the cruise going to be like?
I wasn't going to see any of that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We've already really chatted everybody's ear off at this point.
And so I think we were saying that we were going to kind of go over the entire cruise in this one episode.
I don't think we can.
Now that we're an hour and 26 minutes in, we're not going to make this a 5-hour episode. So we are going to split this up and come back to you in 2 weeks and continue on with our cruise adventure.
Right.
But we did, one of the things that we did do on that first day, and I was a kind of a mainstay, and I think it's worth the upgrade for getting the veranda room for us, was we were able to go outside and just take in the views once we sailed away. and watch
Yeah.
the sailing, right? Being able to see that water, that sunset that we saw on the first night
Yes.
was breathtaking.
You can't even capture that on
Yeah.
a camera or
Mhm.
video. Just seeing it live, and then
Yeah.
just the stars
Oh, yeah.
over the ocean.
Mhm.
I mean, you feel like Moana. Like, it's just like,
And
wow.
Moana.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there is nothing like it. And then the thrill of knowing there are sharks
Yeah.
out there with you.
Oh boy,
I
she's
mean,
going deep. She's going
it's
deep
just-
into it.
It's so different.
And I think that was where the first time I noticed the difference between a Disney cruise versus the parks was when we were able to actually just sit and enjoy the view.
Yeah.
It kind of brought me back to like when we were at the Animal Kingdom Lodge and we were able to look at our
Yeah,
safari view.
Yeah, and then the storms in the sky.
Yeah, and
it was
like
just
this was like
magic.
it was that sort of thing. So it was going to be, and that's what what was sticking with me was all those times when we got to just actually sit and relax
Yeah.
and take this in and just kind of know that you're privileged to be here.
Absolutely.
And this isn't like just a regular thing. I think I never wanted to be like a regular, like, I don't care. No, this was something that was special. So it was that being able to do that on that first day really made me feel like I was on vacation, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
Beyond everything else. So, like I said, we're wrapping it up. We're not going to do a news because we've talked a lot. But we will be back with more cruise stories. We'll see whether we're going to do a day by day. I don't know if there's enough to go day by day or if just we're going to talk about the rest of the cruise.
We do talk a lot, Rob.
Especially the first day is a lot. I would say expect it to be a lot.
Yeah.
Expect a lot of stuff to happen, especially if it's your first cruise or your first Disney cruise. There's going to be a lot to take in, a lot to figure out. Definitely have someone or multiple people that are familiar with the Disney Navigator app and can kind of lead your group around and where to go and to figure out how to get there. I found it very easy. For me, I was able to get around the ship pretty easily. I know you said you got lost, but we'll see.
I mean, it
how I got
wasn't
better.
like a serious kind of lost. It was like I think I'm on the opposite side of the floor that I need to be on.
But anyway, so we'll continue with our Disney cruise adventures on our next episode, and I'll let you finish it up.
We will catch you next time, folks. I hope you have an awesome week.
This has been a Family Travel Planner production.